Alaska's Kenai Peninsula, there lies a remote cabin with a history of strange activity.
And I saw probably the last between 15 and 25 feet of flight of a rock that was the size of a football.
That's when we heard my first whoop.
I'm like, dude, there's a rock right here, you know? It just came from above.
It's only when women are out here. It's never, we haven't heard it. It's only when women are out here. It's just a strange thing.
The place has been dubbed Area A, and in May of 2022, the Bigfoot Beyond the Trail crew set out to spend 8 days at this location in an attempt to document potential Sasquatch activity. The previous Alaskan coastal Sasquatch film covered much of the backstory and our initial 4 days out there, documenting local wildlife, the terrain, and any interesting activity.
I know you're excited for this Alaska adventure, but there's something I really have to tell you about before we get into that. It's Raid Shadow Legends. You have a phone, you have some sort of mobile device, you have a PC. You can play Raid Shadow Legends on all of those things, and you can play with me. So growing up as a kid, I was always a big nerd, big fantasy, like Lord of the Rings type stuff. So one of the things I really enjoy about Raid is the fact that there is so much lore that goes with it. You're in the realm of Teleria, which is under a dark shadow by the Dark Lord Siroth from the east, and it's up to Teleria's immortal guardian, the Arbiter, to stop it. And that's when you get into the engaging in PvP battles and playing with your friends or playing against your friends. It really feels like I'm part of the world. You know, my typical day starts off with me getting up out of bed, putting on my cowboy hat, and then calling up Zach to play Raid Shadow Legends. Hey Zach, tell the people about Rhonda.
Raid's got something extra special happening right now. They've released a legendary champion based off of MMA and pro wrestling legend Ronda Rousey. Yes, the Ronda Rousey. You can get Ronda for free right now, whether you're a new or a longtime player, just by logging into Raid. Yeah, that's all you gotta do is log in and play Raid for 7 days between now and February 28th, and Rhonda's yours. That's all there is to it. Use the special promo code RAIDRhonda to get a bunch of helpful stuff perfect for leveling up your Rhonda so she's at the top of her game.
Look, I don't know what else to tell you about this game. The graphics are amazing. There's 80 million players, so you're never like waiting around for someone to show up to play against or play with. It's that special time of year, and Raid's got something special. It's 12 days of Raid. Download Raid Shadow Legends from the link in the description. So just enter your player ID and set out on a bunch of fun, festive adventures. It lasts 12 days from December 19th to January 10th. And each day there's a new chapter of this wintry story that you get to play through, and a new mini game for a chance to win some awesome in-game rewards, including holiday-themed Raid Shadow Legends champions and Amazon gift cards worth up to $1,000. Hard to say no to that. And one final thing. New players, use my link or scan this QR code that's on the screen right now. You'll get a free starter pack with all of this cool stuff, and it'll be in your inbox for the next 30 days only, so act quickly. I'll be playing for those 12 days of Raid, and I hope to see you there too.
When we left off on part 1, we were congregated around the upper fire pit when we were abruptly interrupted by strange sounds from the woods around us.
Yeah, the smoke. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Are we
That
rolling?
was the best I've heard.
Okay, so we're kind of talking, goofing off, and I thought I heard a knock. There it is. What the heck? just sounded like a rock got thrown into the water. And we heard multiple knocks. Yeah.
Here it goes smack, splash. Did you guys hear like branches break?
A little bit.
It was like branches breaking at the same time as the splash. Over there, that's the sound of rocks.
Something fell into the water, yeah. And we had like branches.
And then the
smash.
branches, and then more rocks. That's the best. That's the best I've heard in like 2 summers.
Just roll on that guy. Eli.
Last time they threw like 15 rocks.
Probably upset.
And it sounded just like that, but it was louder. They were closer to
Yeah,
us
I mean,
that
and here's
time.
the thing. If it was just a random noise from over there, why would we hear something hitting the water too?
Right.
And then it kept on going up there. If it was just something that broke and fell into the water, we would hear that. We wouldn't hear more knocking noises after something hits the water.
Right.
Like, should we just keep on doing our thing?
Yeah.
They're gonna be quiet if we're quiet.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
We were getting pretty loud.
I know, we were
And
we were
that's-
been goofing off and like
Yep.
it's been a fun conversation, you know. We attempted to recreate the sound of the rocks being thrown into the water we had been hearing.
Yep.
Once the initial excitement of the strange sounds died down, as we scanned with thermal units and continued to see nothing, we figured we would continue to play it cool for a bit. I heard something to the right.
What you doing here, Alex?
Just doing another tripwire. Here you go, dude.
A lower one.
Yeah, this. Wait, what? Oh, my light keeps turning off. I get it. You got it tightened?
Yep. For it.
All right. So, I mean, this one is pretty low, so obviously can't really eliminate other animals, but, you know, we did the fire and everything, so guess we'll see.
For reference, the fire's right here.
Stand, it's there.
Alright.
Got it. Singing bowls out in
Sure,
the
I don't set
distance.
it off.
Right.
Okay. Boys ready?
Yeah.
We end it over here.
Before departing for the cabin, we left an audio recorder present at the upper fire pit, as well as a small trail camera hidden on the inside of a rotting tree. Sadly, Rob Roy has taken off.
I know.
Bittersweet.
It is bittersweet. I hope something epic happens. I
And
really
last
do.
night was a good
Last
start.
night was a great one. Last night was one of the biggest events I've heard since my first summer, I think.
Yeah.
Even though we heard something down there, it wasn't quite as distinct as what we heard there. It was, we were definite what we heard. But good times.
Awesome, man.
Good times with
For
you guys.
sure.
Hey guys, thanks a lot.
See you, Rob Roy.
A lot of fun, man. You guys are awesome.
All right, well, so he's leaving. So what we're going to do is we're going to hunker down in the cabin and just act like there's nobody around. And maybe something will come down, hopefully. We'll see. But either way, time to be shut-ins for a little bit. With Rob Roy departing, it would leave myself, Eli, and Ron for a number of hours alone at the cabin while he was taken back. Quite a few of the unusual recordings they have captured of the cabin took place right after people had left via boat. So our idea was to be completely quiet and stay indoors for a while to see if we could observe or hear anything, with cameras and audio recorders on the ready. So we're just hanging out in here, reorganizing the cabin a little bit after our sort of chill out. I fell asleep, Ron did too. You mentioned you heard some stuff a little bit while we were kind of sleeping.
Yeah, but it was just like what we heard. It was like almost, or I'm not doing hand motion, but I don't know what it was.
We just heard this loud bang.
Yeah, it's like a thumping noise. So I actually rolled some audio on my phone.
You have it?
Yeah, and I screenshotted every time I heard it. Because
How many times did you hear it?
3 times.
I mean, I don't want to allude to anything, but
It's not even windy though.
yeah.
But I don't know.
I mean, there is a history of stuff getting thrown at the cabin, but I don't want to allude to that, you know? I don't, because I just don't know. With nothing large noticed moving around outside the cabin, and no rocks or any other debris located, we can only guess what the thumping could have been. Perhaps a smaller critter like a marten moving around, or a bird hitting the cabin. Some sounds that did catch my attention was from an audio recorder in the woods away from the cabin. The first thing that came to mind for me was it being feline in nature. With lynx being the only cat native to Alaska, that would be the only plausible feline candidate. So,
that one is so good.
Yeah, we're checking out the audio from last night. We've got some definite knocks, and I'm surprised we can't hear the one splashing in the water, the rock that we heard.
I think I heard that.
Yeah, you think you heard it?
Closer around there, yeah.
Going up to switch out SD cards on a camera. We're back up at the upper fire pit. Alright, so let's see.
Taking a video now, actually. Okay, it's gonna go off in 30 seconds.
Alright, so up here at the upper fire pit, where I am right now is where I was standing when I started hearing stuff to my right. and that's what's on the audio, and we'll play it here.
Yep, whoa. You hear that?
That was, you know, the sound's coming from the right, and clearly something then falls from the right, which goes out to that point, right into the water. A rock or something large, boom, you know, hits the water. And we proceed to hear sounds after it, including that loud sounding knock noise that we have on audio. So as you can see, I mean, here's where I would have been standing, my back to the water, facing the fire. So these guys would have been sitting here. Behind us is that ridge up there, and the sounds were coming from over there. And the water's right down over there, and that's where we had the loud splash followed by knocks. And you were sitting right there, Ron. Eli and Rob Roy were right there. So just kind of going through, and I mean, we hiked up that area yesterday. Got the ridge all right up there. Goes, you know, all the way down to the end of the point. So if you're standing up there, you would have a complete view of us down here. I mean, we could see that fire from down over there, but imagine being up top of that ridge. So it was weird. It was a weird night. It's the only thing that really happened. I mean, you know, and it's like thinking about the random probability, something crashing. It wasn't windy. No. You know, let's say it was just a rock rolling down that hill. I mean, it's not as steep in that section either. And what we tried was when I threw my rocks down here, they landed into that moss section right there. I had to actually throw out to actually hit the water underhand. So if it was something rolling from up on that hill, it'd probably get snagged before it manages to hit the water. Less dramatic of a slope right there from that cliff up there. So pretty intriguing. Later in the day, we set out to deploy some time-lapse cameras in the area around the cabin. Previous attempts by Scott to deploy trail cameras around the property had resulted in the cameras being ripped off the trees, and some even damaged. We figured somewhat disguised time-lapse cameras might be less intrusive than trail cameras that can produce noise and emit visible infrared light that is visible to some wildlife.
So currently we're on our way to deploy some time-lapse cameras. We split up. Scott and Eli are in one group, and then
yeah, we're gonna pop these guys on some trees. Obviously they're disguised a bit with some moss, kind of make it look like this environment. There's a lot of moss and a lot of old man's beard, that kind of stuff. We'll probably add some more stuff on it, but
yep.
You wanted to do it by the creek.
Yeah, it's the only prominent fresh water source that's flowing other than stagnant pools. So I think there's probably going to be a lot of wildlife out here. We might have a good chance of capturing some type of animals.
That's the nice thing about this is it'll just run. And we can just check it with our phone, I believe. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
That might not be true, but possibly. Either way, we'll be able to check it obviously manually.
Right, and how often are they taking pictures?
That I don't know. We'll have to get that info from Scott and Eli.
Right.
Not sure.
I think they configured it to take quite a bit. It's supposed to be in relatively short intervals.
So did you hear the whole story about the one possible sighting?
No.
No, it was right here. Guy had used the outhouse and came back. Well, he goes down there like 11 o'clock at night. He and I were sitting by the fire. My wife and her girlfriend had gone to bed the same day that they'd heard the baby crying. They heard it independent of each other. One was using the outhouse, the other one was in there berry picking. And they knew what I told them, what I was told, what it meant. So they never said anything to each other because they didn't want to freak each other out. But hold on, ready? So he and I are sitting by the fire. It's late in the season, and he used the outhouse. So I didn't have that trail that comes straight through, so he had to come up this hill to the bench, right? Come back down this trail. And he goes, "Yeah, I gotta use the bathroom." And I said, "Well, let me grab my flashlight, light my shotgun." He goes, "No, I have a light on my iPhone." I said, "We're not doing that." So I grabbed my headlamp, grabbed my shotgun. He comes up the trail, walks down, goes to the outhouse, and he said he's sitting in there, and he goes, "Dude, this is a guy he's disabled vet, grew up in Alaska, hunted fish his whole life, and he goes, I've never felt like that." He goes, I'm in there, and I know something's watching me." So he literally comes out of the bathroom, starts walking up this trail, and he was right at that stump right there. He looks left. It might have been this one right here. I think it was this one. He looks left right here, and he sees, you can see how tall the salmon tree. Something is looking at him just on the other side. It's about 35-40 yards away, but it's right at the limit of the headlamp. But he sees eyes looking at him, and he's walking. He trips on this, so his head automatically snaps forward. He starts walking. He gets on the other side of these trees right here, looks up, and it's 10 or 15 feet further. It's parallel. It's still looking at him, and it's following him up. So
wow,
he ran back to the fire pit. He ran back to the fire pit. Pretty well worn.
So we've got this camera set and angled to take any shots of potentially any wildlife coming over to drink from that pool down there. It's fresh water right before it empties out into the bay. So it's the last call for fresh drinking water for any of the animals that are living here. And the further we go up, you'll see that there's a lot more snow and it's harder travel, but it's at least along the banks here. It's good water access. How's that look?
So this trail was created by the guys that looked at the property 3 weeks before I bought it. You know, the guys from Georgia.
Yeah.
The guys that got freaked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty rotten.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so quiet.
You know.
Does it freak you out being out here?
No.
No?
I'm not one of those guys. I'm not a fearful kind of person, you know?
Mm.
Because whatever's out here, I just treat it like a bear.
Mm-hmm.
That one right there, we can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can just pull that out, so.
Yikes.
I just hate to see it come off or
Yeah.
have a bear come up here and grab it. Oh, no, that'll get us there. Okay. This might actually be a better spot, Eli.
Cool.
So if you opened your app, you can see this camera and what it's looking at, and we can adjust it. So even if you were to take this camera down and we want to recreate something, you can take it down, put it up, and you can, with your app, you're able to see where it was, and it has these translucent lines.
This is what it's seeing.
And the one thing I don't think we hit record. I think you hit record from the app. Did you do that in the other one?
I didn't.
Okay, so
I need to go over there.
yeah, we'll
Start
talk
with.
the way back.
While we had primarily been running multiple Zoom audio recorders at all times while on the property, Scott decided to set up his ARU recording unit. An ARU, or an autonomous recording unit, is often used by field biologists and those trying to study and record audio of animals in the wild. It is essentially a long-term audio recorder that can be programmed to go off at certain times.
So this is a
Call it Song Meter. Song Meter 4.
Song Meter 4.
It'll hold a terabyte of info, so you can literally, I recorded through an off season out here. I put it up September, I think it was September 25th, September 27th, something like that. Didn't get back out here until April the next year and it was still recording, so.
Okay, so long-term audio.
Oh yeah. Victory.
Nice.
Oh, schedule right there. Edit schedule. It's 9 o'clock at night till 6 in the morning. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yep, that's the one.
All right.
You gotta be smarter than the equipment you operate, right? Okay, that's done.
Alright, so what are we about to do?
So Scott has this thermal, it's a drone with thermal capabilities, and so I'm about to take it up, familiarize myself with the controls, so in case something does happen, I can take it up real quick and maybe get it. Oh, I see, there's an actual zoom on here. Look at this. Woo!
Testing the thermal drone proved to be somewhat difficult. With such thick tree cover in the area, it was a challenge to see much through the canopy. We attempted a test by having Ron walk around the woods behind the cabin, but it was hard to see much definition of his figure, and he could easily disappear by hiding. I get the feeling that something of this nature would be more useful in a less dense area, but nonetheless, it was another tool that we could utilize in conjunction with a ground team if anything were to be spotted by a drone.
What you got? I got a Northern Lights thing that's a speaker. I'm gonna play some music and try to do more of a light show. Continuation of last night's party. Ah, look, you can see it on the trees. We got music playing, we got some light projections, and now we're adding glow sticks and a glowing beach ball to the mix. We're just trying to make our camp seem original and new to anything that might be watching up in the hills.
Rocking the Pulsar thermal unit. Also got on, well, I got on some bionic ears.
Here, catch. I'm passing this to Ron.
Hold on, don't drop it down the cliff.
Hopefully this brings him in, dude.
Alright, so we paused the music. We're gonna do a knock. We're gonna listen.
Just heard something in the water. So I heard something splash in the water, but it sounded like it was actually just swimming in the water. Another day.
Oh, I think I've
Another whale sighting. Day 6 began with wildlife watching. Humpback whales were spotted in the distance, and we were able to watch sea lions frolicking in the bay. A sea otter was seen as well. Following the slow start to the day, Ron and myself decided we would set out with some sea kayaks in hopes of exploring neighboring bays and inlets that might be difficult to access with the larger boat. Eli would join Scott and his friend for some fishing. Alright, Ron, you ready? Alright, you're in. You coming this way? We got the shore behind us here. Trying to figure out approximately where maybe the rock would have come in the other night when we heard something go splashing into the water after hearing those knocks and all that other weird stuff. Maybe somewhere around here. Could be anything watching us from up there. Who knows, out here?
All right. Wait, Scott, would you mind explaining the rig we got here?
Tacoma 750, but it's all electric. So if we hook a fish, all we do is go forward like this and bring the fish up. So anyway,
Cool.
we're just jigging right now. So we have a big jig bouncing off the bottom because we don't have any bait. We should have got bait at the store, I guess. Tried catching bait earlier, but no joy. We're fishing for halibut. There's some big halibut here. There's 100-pound plus halibut here. There's a lot of not so much lingcod. We've caught big lingcod here before, but rockfish. There's some big yellow eye here, and then codfish, and then there's skates. Skates is like a stingray.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but without the sting on the ray. But
they're bottom feeders?
Yeah, we catch some giant skates. I've caught skates right here with a 6-foot wingspan, and they are a bear to bring out.
I'm going wide so that the surf can kind of bring me in. Yeah.
Oh, oh, you good?
Where you at? I don't think I can get to you.
Did You have it flipped? Okay, just stay calm. I just gotta be careful because I don't want the same thing to happen to me. Then we're really all right, just take it easy.
I have a little control. I feel like I'm making my way to the shore.
Okay, ready? All right, you okay? All right, grab onto me.
I'm right here.
All right, here.
Keep rolling right there.
Let me just get control of your boat. Okay, I got your boat here.
I'm not gonna try to crawl in.
Is your okay? Yeah, you're got a lot of water in there.
Yeah.
Just give me a sec. All right.
Can you?
Yeah.
Can you row?
Yeah. You wanna
keep your boat stable.
I don't know. It's gonna be tough. I think here. Why don't we try to have you hang onto the back of my boat? Because I can't row like this. So ready?
We're making our way though.
Yeah. Ready?
Moving, so.
Ready? All right. Just go slow. Grab the back of my boat. This was becoming a riskier situation by the minute, especially with the low water temperature, how long it would take us to get back while battling the waves, and if Ron would even be able to get back into the kayak. We headed to shore, where the best option at least would be hiking back. Luckily, the guys on the boat happened to be rounding a corner and noticed our predicament and could come to the rescue.
Oh yeah, he rolled it. You got the water. You can take it back. He looks drenched. He went in. He must have rolled it. Well, I'm glad we came around the corner.
Yeah? Let's see what
the capsize says.
Hey, what's up, wet boy? Alright.
We jigged down here for halibut, but it's just too early in the season for halibut, so we're gonna go kill rockfish. That's our dinner. So as soon as we drop you guys off.
I know that water went from glass to not glass. We should have just stayed in the bay.
You guys would just paddle around here.
That's what we should have done, but we tried to be the heroes, and we turned it as zeros. Once we got to the cabin for Ron to warm up, the other guys went back out to catch us some dinner.
Some mountain goats.
Here we go.
There they are.
See, these are still alive. All right, let's do this. See the spikes? I'm getting them right in my...
Yep.
Glove can't protect you from that. This would be the freshest fish you probably ever had.
Probably.
So they're you just get hardly any fillet on these fish. That's just the way it is. Even a big giant rockfish, there's not much fillet on them. I'm cutting these down to deep fry size. I'm just following that shoulder right down, right? I'm on top of the spine right there. And it takes a lot of rockfish to make a meal.
Got our fresh rockfish here. grab a piece by piece, flour it up. It's really hard to do with one hand while filming. All right, got it on the egg, and we panko it up. Nice. And boom.
Warms up a little bit, Ron. I've been in that water one time.
We enjoyed the fresh fish for dinner and the simple nature of being in a location like this one. After all, it is fishing and leisure that was the primary motivation to build this cabin in the first place. The strange activity was secondary and not anticipated by Scott or anybody else that visited. The following event, as recounted by Scott, was one of the more dramatic incidents to take place.
The weirdest was when I had two friends come out with me. They do a separate line of work, but one of the guys used to be a biologist. He still is, obviously. Once you're a biologist, you're a biologist. But we went to bed about 11 o'clock, maybe 11:30, not much later than that. And we didn't have stairs on the front of the cabin at the time, so I just constructed a ramp and left a sheet of plywood off that back corner. And so that was our only access in and out, going up and down that ramp. So to keep bears from coming in, just wandering in, I put a piece of plywood against that opening from the inside, and I put a Yeti cooler against it that weighed 70 pounds. It was a Yeti cooler empty is probably close to 30, but at 1:30 in the morning, I've got no electricity, it's dark as can be. Something comes up to the building and shoves that plywood in so hard, the cooler goes to the other wall 12 feet away and hits it hard. They start screaming, "Get out of here, bear." I came running from, even though I can't see, I know my cabin, so I grabbed my shotgun, it's hanging right next to me, grab that, spin around into the bunk room, and I just start screaming at them, because they're hollering. They're just like, "Get out of here, bear." And I said, "Clear the door, I'm going to shoot." And I said it about 3 times. I was screaming at them, because I'm going to blast whatever's in the doorway, and thinking, that it was a bear. I heard the big bang and all that stuff, but I hadn't processed what we were dealing with at that point. But as soon as they shut up, you could hear whatever it was is going up that hill. In the cabin, you could feel the movement of the cabin. The cabin moves, but you could feel the ground sort of, you could just feel it. I've been close to moose when they run by. I know what you could feel the ground move a little bit. Same thing with horses. But that's what happened, and those guys didn't want to sleep in that room anymore until I closed. I literally had to seal off that back building, or part of the building, and put temporary stairs up just to get them to stay out and help me out working out here. So
cool. Alrighty, well, I guess we'll see you in the morning then.
All right. If you don't need to stay up there, come back down. You know where the beds are. So
absolutely. Don't
feel like you're going to wake us. You won't.
All right. Well, we're going up. We're going to camp out somewhere on that ridge tonight. Let's do it. Given that seemed to be the area from where unusual noises were heard from the night before last, we figured it might be worth spending the night up there for a couple of reasons. As has been mentioned before, a previous scouting party interested in the property prior to Scott had camped up there and were apparently freaked out by something stomping through their camp each night. Secondly, the night we did experience the knocking sounds and rock throws, it was after we had done our very thorough hike of the area. We couldn't help but feel that might have had something to do with the unusual activity, even if that is just plain speculation. Perhaps spending the night up there, where it has rarely been done, would prove interesting.
Let's see. Can you see that? Those lights are the upper That's the upper fire pit where we were the past couple of nights.
Alright, we've found a spot in this clearing to put our tent. 2 persons should work right here in this little bedding area. And Ron's gonna go right here. Ron, you thought you heard a knock?
Yeah, like way. It's hard to tell because we were making so much noise, but it was on this side.
Eli.
Either off across here, maybe across the other cove, or,
Yeah.
or up the ridge.
And Eli, you thought you heard one too.
I thought I heard one a little bit before that when we were setting up the tent. It sounded like it came from back where we came in from.
Well, alright, we'll keep our ears peeled. We sat outside the tents for a bit after setting up, scanning with thermal units and simply just listening.
That was in front of me. Like behind you, Eli.
Wow.
You hear that?
Like a whoop. Really?
You didn't hear that?
No.
I'm standing up.
That was funny. Alright, good luck, Ron. We'll be here. After we had settled into our tents for the night, a slight drizzling rain began that would go on and off for a bit. Eli and I stayed up for about an hour, listening and hearing again what could only be described as knocking sounds and or rocks hitting rocks before splashing into the water. Attempts to scan with the thermal proved futile in the moment, and with nothing seen, we eventually dozed off. Even while we slept, the audio recorder picked up rock clacking and splashing sounds, as you'll hear between the snoring. While those sounds seemed to come in short waves confined to a few minutes total. Later on in the early hours of the morning, the audio recorder captured a growl, which again seems possible to be a lynx. Well, it's morning. Show the area we were in. Pretty interesting night. Lots of weird noises. What do you think, Ron?
Yeah, I heard some knocks and some splashing down there. Like
Yeah,
something
so
getting tossed in the water.
That's how close we are to the water. We didn't know. The water's just down this hill, big hill. Going right down that way. So we really have that high ground here. We're going to kind of search the area here, see if there's not anything we can find. But Eli, what do you think of last night?
Dude, there was knocks everywhere, and we heard this like knock and a thump that was like right off to our left.
Yeah.
And it sounded like these things were close, whatever it was. And there was footsteps, there was stuff moving around.
Yeah.
For sure.
Just kind of beating myself up for not sticking that thermal. I did stick the thermal out the tent a few times. It just takes so long to do it.
Does it?
And I have such a limited view unless I pop out, but
yeah.
Well, I mean, hopefully the other recorder's got stuff while we were sleeping too, but Alright, so we're walking around a little bit over here. See if we can't find any sign of anything around camp. So we're following this game trail here, and it kind of goes under a tree. So obviously it's a little tight for us as humans to get through. So I was just going to the side to sidestep it when I noticed this. My foot, naturally I would put it right there. It seems to be a worn flat area that bypasses this tree to continue up on the game trail. Could that be humans? Possibly. Now, a lot of people have come through here, but it's not out of the realm of possibilities. So boom. And then you continue on the game trail. Path of least resistance. Unbeknownst to me at the time, my microphone was disconnected from the camera, resulting in a loss of audio, right as we were examining this impression in the mud, which ultimately we deemed as natural and kept moving. Whoa, look out there. Got some perfect feline prints here, especially this one. You can tell from that pad. Probably lynx. No toe or no claws visible. One right in front of it too. It's pretty small, as you can see. Don't have my tape measure. Left it up at the tent, but it's looks like lynx. All right, it's the biggest cat they have here. No mountain lions around here. Pretty neat. Alright, so we're gonna leave camp set up. We're gonna come back here tonight. We're gonna leave some audio rolling, so go ahead. After getting back to the cabin, we had ourselves a very lax day for the most part, with everybody eventually settling into a nap at one point. Low clouds rolled in and it created an ominous atmosphere unlike what we had seen any of the days prior. This is when things got a little strange. So as I was just standing out here, it's a little bit foggy and rainy, and I was just getting some B-roll of the mountains, and I happened to be focusing on something in the bay when I heard what I thought was a gunshot, very loud. One of the guys in the cabin apparently heard it when I was coming back in go twice, heard that same noise. There shouldn't be anybody shooting out here. That's the kind of sound that this guy said he heard the other day as well when we were getting onto the raft, when we were coming back from that side. As soon as we got on the beach. Very strange, I don't know. I mean, there shouldn't be anyone shooting up here. There's nobody else out here, so it's just kind of strange. My first thought when I heard that was gunshot. And that's what the other guy thought as well. So, just more weirdness out here. While going out to switch the battery on an audio recorder behind the cabin itself, by pure chance I happened to look at the backside of the cabin closest to the bunk room and noticed something rather intriguing that we all proceeded to examine.
Decent.
You can really see it. If you come down here, come here.
Oh yeah.
You see that?
Here you go. Yeah, wow. Oh, that's the money shot.
Zoom in on that.
But yeah, you can see the...
So zoom out. Ready? Keep it like that. How's that?
Yeah, you can see it's about 8.
This would have to be like the configuration or something like that. But again, what's so weird is back of this person's palm here is touching here, as you can see right here, right? So that's the back of it. So if I'm touching the back, look where my hand falls flat.
Yeah, your bottom tooth.
And look at their digits. Their ring and middle finger almost go to here. That's nuts. Who's got a bigger hand? We pretty much are all pretty much the same here. And it's the only one. It's right under that window.
I know.
But it's like a really sticky, sweaty palm.
Yeah.
What way does it go on there? Because look at these are going this way. On this, they're going straight down in line. My hands are straight across. They don't swirl like that though. It's like a swirl pattern. And the fingers are so hard to tell. It's just greasy. 1, 2, 3, 4. So
why
it's
is there not a thumb?
about that tip to that bottom, 6 inches across. I mean, that is within human range, but
Yeah.
that's if I'm fully extending my fingers
And that's
out.
what I'm saying. It's like they're straight. They're not, you know what I mean?
they're
It's not like
crazy
you doing,
curved.
it's not like you doing this real steep angle.
Because these two fingers are real close together. And this one, this pinky, if that's a pinky, that's the same length as the pointer finger, which I guess makes sense. But I don't know. It's a decently big hand. That's all I can really. I would just expect to see more. I would expect to see more of those types of prints if there were, people doing stuff here. I don't know. None of the guys could recall pressing against this spot with their hand, and we have no idea how long this could have been there for. What was interesting about this handprint was that it was definitely made by a hand. While that certainly doesn't rule out human, it does rule out bear or moose or anything that isn't human-like. Without the proper equipment to collect a sample, we would arrange for somebody with a law enforcement background to lift the print in the coming weeks. And there's no other handprint. I would expect if you guys had been doing, let's say, some work, I'd see more than one oily handprint like that on here, but that's literally the only one I found so far.
That's what they say.
That's way bigger than any of us. So that's half the size.
Yeah, I checked this whole side here and didn't see anything even remotely similar. So one of a kind on this structure.
Wow.
So I'm walking around here, kind of beneath where our campsite is. Campsite is up over there, I believe. So this is the area, and I'm seeing lots of impressions down here. And this is the area where we heard noises, we heard rocks being thrown right there into the water. See how close that is? It's definitely footfall here. Still scanning the sides of trees. See if we can find hair. You see something like this. The camera won't even focus on it. See that floating around, flying around? Looks like hair, but it's not. This trail looks perfect. Looks very worn. I'm looking along these branches, and it's just so much old man's beard and moss that it's hard to tell what's hair and what isn't. This trail goes all the way down to the water here. Look at this. This could take me to the beach. And our campsite's up there.
I'll press record. Leave the note. Alright, I'm setting this just uphill from camp. I'm gonna be hanging it in a tree. This is the second night of the camp out. right here. Hopefully we get something. Should we go all night? I don't know what to do about it.
We know we got that lynx out there.
So we are hearing stuff all around us. Sounds like rocks clacking together. Sounds like something moving in the water. Last night? Maybe. But not all of it. But we were seeing the sea lions all day today.
Yeah.
But like, what was weird was that stuff from last night. The clunking and like something getting closer.
Yep.
Here in the woods. You can clearly hear that to the left out in the bay.
Yeah, that might be sea lions. Let's go. What are we working with here?
Deploying the pheromone chips yet again.
Let me get a whiff of that. You just gotta accept it, dude.
We decided to deploy some Sasquatch pheromone chips. Developed using gorilla and human bacterial odors and known for their foul smell, we've deployed these chips before in places like the Pacific Northwest, the Rocky Mountains, and elsewhere, with the idea of luring something in closer that might be interested. I've had a few occasions elsewhere when the usage of these pheromone chips produced wood knocks and possibly objects being thrown towards our camp, so we figured we would give them a try for the night.
This tree here, perfect. What about that here? Oh yeah.
Pray don't drop it on my head. Alright. That's fine.
There we go. Deployed.
Just heard some weird thing.
Wait, say that again.
We just heard some kind of a vocalization.
Can it return over there? I didn't hear it there.
I don't know if that was sea lions or not. That's the problem. There's a lot of them around.
Yeah, but they've been staying together most of the day.
You heard a return.
It sounded to me like there was the call and a return.
It was unusual. Very unusual. Alright, what's the plan here? Do we settle in now? Yeah, I mean it wouldn't hurt to go in now. Yeah. Alright, well, you're laying in the tent. I'm gonna be wearing the bionic ears. I got my thermal ready in case we hear anything. I'm gonna try to jump out the tent as quickly as I can.
Most of what we heard that evening were sea lions. We had noticed during the day how many of them had moved into the bay. What was interesting about these noises is that they went on all night. You can see it on this spectrogram. Every bump is some sort of sea lion noise, whether it be splashing, coming out of the water for a breath, or vocalizations. In previous nights, including last night, the knock noises and rock splash sounds seemed to only occur a few at a time, in a short span of time as well. We recorded nothing of that nature this particular evening.
What are we
Making
doing?
a second attempt. Heading up, we're gonna get past the snow line this time. We're a little more prepared today. See how it goes.
A little bit lighter weight, starting a little bit earlier. We're not doing the second half that we did, or the first half that we did.
Wait, you heard a knock?
Yeah. Shh. Right up the ridge, just
How loud was it? What did it sound like? Like any of the stuff we heard the other night?
No.
Like that?
Like that.
Find a nice little creek melt.
It's a slow process, but you can stay hydrated.
Like eating berries and berry season, you know?
Conquered nature.
Seeing some impressions.
Bear tracks.
Okay. That wasn't us.
Yeah, I didn't come this far.
Dude, yeah, you can see the digits on that. Look at this one. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You can see it on this one too.
Yeah, that looks like bear.
We made it all the way up this steep hill. Oh yeah.
Inches. 5 across. I'm gonna give it a little snow melt. Might as well just see if we can get up this thing, I guess.
I just see the woods. We were up there. Can you believe that, Ronald?
What?
We were up there.
Yeah.
Since it was our last night, we had to retrieve the footage from the various time-lapse cameras stationed in the area. Put your knee down a little bit, Eli.
Can't move. I can't break my leg like that.
Yeah.
I don't wanna. Oh! Oh!
No!
Dude, it's sick.
Who screamed? You scared the out of me, dude. I just saw a head there. It's a freaking sea lion.
You were filming that, right?
I was. I just happened to point my camera that direction.
I like how I freaked him out. What are you doing? Hey, get out of here.
Oh, that was hilarious, dude. That was a good moment. Ron's reaction scared me more than anything because I wasn't sure what was going on. With those 3 time-lapse cameras running constantly, we were unable to catch any significant wildlife. This was somewhat surprising given the amount of large animals in the area and their sign that we would frequently come across. For the final evening out, we once again headed back to the upper fire pit to try our luck one last time. So we're hearing the same noises we've been hearing. Sounds like a rock flying into the water, or hitting a rock before it hits the water. Very distinct. Blunk. So not like sea lions.
Oh, that last splash.
Huh?
There's splashes coming from like right here. But that's not what we heard.
What we heard was again from the point.
Yep.
Plunk.
Ron's audio should have captured it.
That night, the night we heard of the robbery, it was mixed with those knocks, and it was that noise.
That was me kicking this stuff.
Was that you? Are you sure?
I don't know. It sounded further
Dude,
away.
that sounded like a rock in the water.
Yeah, I think he hit a tree first.
That's literally what it sounds like. That's what that sound sounds like.
Yeah.
The sea lions are messing around out there.
Yeah, but I think they're over here. Like, over this way. What we're hearing is further down the point.
Well, it's our last night out here. Got a few more of these rock splashing, falling noises. I mean, we know there's some sea lions out there, but they don't make a sound that sounds like a rock hitting other rocks and trees along the way into the water. We've been scanning with the thermal. I don't know, it's kind of frustrating, so not a whole lot else we can really do at this point. I mean, we could deploy the thermal drone over there, but we're not going to see much. It doesn't penetrate through the trees. It's not the end-all be-all, I don't think. So I thought it was going to be a much more useful tool. But yeah, I don't know. We've had happen what we've had happen, and that's basically it. We'll have to come back here soon.
Yep. I just want to find where they live.
Bittersweet as we leave the cabin. Obviously it's been a pretty interesting trip out here. Just bummer to be leaving, but we got to explore so much of this beautiful place. Even though we were leaving this wilderness paradise behind, only to return to civilization, we were gifted one last glimpse into the wild nature that defines Alaska. Our journey may have ended, but that's not where the story ends. While we did not capture definitive proof of anything Sasquatch-like, there are still some interesting things to sift through. As mentioned earlier, we arranged to have somebody with a law enforcement background come back at a later date to the cabin in order to collect samples from the mystery handprint.
It was found, I believe, last week, a couple weeks ago. I don't have the date it was found, but it is Tuesday, May 24th at about 6 p.m. and I'm going to attempt to swab it for DNA, and then I'm going to try and lift it with fingerprint powder. All right, so I've got some supplies here. These were loaned to me from the police department I retired from. So these are actual law enforcement grade supplies. So if a crime was committed, this is the stuff that they would use to collect DNA, to collect evidence to send to the crime lab. Gonna get a little swab on these fingers here. So it's exciting stuff. I like these with the little caps on. Now I don't know for sure if that was the pointer finger. I don't know what finger it is, so I'm just going to call it finger 1. So that's going to be the finger that is closest to the roof of the cap. Whatever it was, it definitely left a whitish stain here on the siding. Probably what I'll do is I'll take one of these still photographs that we have that shows it pretty well, and I will diagram on the photograph finger 1, finger 2, finger 3. So I'm going to take 2 swabs of this palm area, suspected palm area. The first one I'm going to do is right there, because there's a really noticeable dermal ridge right there. I'm going to try and get that right here, right in this meaty portion. So now that we've swabbed our suspected handprint for DNA, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and lift the print. I have some fingerprinting supplies here with me. I have some fingerprint powder, some hinge lifters. I'm a little skeptical that this is going to work. It's an old print. It's been here for at least 2 weeks, I think. It's been raining today. I don't know how well this is going to pan out. If this was a law enforcement case and it was a serious case, I would probably just remove the siding and send it out to be glued. What they do is they vaporize the super glue and it sticks to the print. We don't have the means to do that here. We're doing it the old-fashioned way with fingerprint powder, a brush, and hinge lifters. It's there, it's just not very visible. And we're at a disadvantage because it's on an uneven surface. Two and three. These are the fingers, supposed to be the fingers, and that's supposed to be the ball. All right. I think we've done as much damage as we can do with this.
The samples were sent to Doug Hychek of Monster Quest fame for future analysis. I emailed a few folks about the handprint, including Dr. Jeff Meldrum, who believed it was likely a human print. I also emailed 2 professors of primate dermatoglyphics who wished to remain anonymous. One agreed with Dr. Meldrum's analysis that a human was likely the culprit, while the other initially believed it was some sort of bear, but upon closer inspection agreed it was human or ape in pattern. Albeit inconclusive overall, I believe this was a great exercise in following up with alleged evidence with outside parties for their professional opinions. While most of the audio we captured while on the property sounded like wood knocking or those rock splash sounds we kept hearing, the mystery gunshots that kept occurring were intriguing. They seemed to only occur when we were doing something, such as when it was heard as we boarded the raft on day 2.
Yeah, when y'all were getting in the Zodiac. You heard a growl? Yeah, there was a knock up there when y'all were getting in.
But he heard a growl as well.
I thought y'all shot the gun and I looked over to see Elward.
Or when I exited the cabin alone and happened to be filming when I captured one of the sounds. When it comes to breaking down the sound via spectrographic analysis, we can see the mystery gunshot does not match the typical way a gunshot looks visually. The sounds previously captured in the years prior that originally captured my attention were worth following up. David Ellis of the Olympic Project, who has spent countless hours examining alleged Sasquatch audio recordings, was the one who initially discovered many of the sounds among hours of recorded audio and had this to say about them. Quote, I review audio visually in a spectrogram while listening. I visually spotted a long howl that was very suspicious. Using software that allows me to see the vocalization in the form of a spectrogram, I can accurately enhance the vocal to an audible form. This audio capture, titled Long Distance Vocal, is a personal favorite. In the long run, it is the collective sounds of whistles, whoops, gorilla chest beats, percussive sounds, gibberish voices, and house slaps that tie it all up with a nice bow. Something is happening on and around Scott's property. I'm glad to see other folks are getting a chance to witness what is going on. End quote. I spent a few days emailing some of the sounds to various primatologists and primate vocalization experts around North America. Out of the roughly dozen or so emails I sent out, I only received one response. This primate expert was very curious about the recordings and recommended setting up further camera traps. They also suggested the rock throwing could have been done by ravens. In the months after our visit to the cabin, during the summer season, Scott and his companions returned on quite a few occasions. They experienced much of the same type of activity we did, hearing potential whoop-like noises, mystery gunshots from the hills, hollow baseball bat sounds, and even finding a few unusual-looking footprints. Looking back on our week now as I write this, nearly 7 months after our journey to this little slice of heaven on earth, there are things I would have liked we had done differently. Different techniques, using more of the equipment on hand. Things such as setting up autonomous thermal cameras in the forest at night, trying more covering concealment, and tactics such as bringing women along to see if the so-called baby crying sounds can be observed again, and other ideas we had after the fact. Perhaps we were somewhat in over our heads with this task and barely scratched the surface, but for what we did accomplish, I am satisfied with. We explored so much of that area in a way it likely hasn't been explored in years. We spent the longest continuous period at the cabin ever. We witnessed many of the amazing creatures that call this place their home. We documented an incredibly rich ecosystem, barely spoiled by the destructive hands of humanity. If whatever is lurking out there indeed is something Sasquatch-like, which is not certain by any means, but either way, we feel it warrants further investigation. There is a lot more work to be done at this site, longer times to be spent there, more ambitious attempts to document what is truly going on there. This is not the last you will see of codenamed Area A. Dear old Alaskan cabin, we will return.